Hey, folks, John Cantera, the Double Broker Bounty Hunter here. Welcome back to a special edition of Stop the Scam. We are at day 2 at Matt's here in Louisville, Kentucky, and what a wild show it is. There's so many people out here. It is kind of crazy. Again, with me, we have our sponsor from AccuBid Pro, Jimmy. Always good to have you out here.
Nice to be here, brother. Thanks for having me.
Always great. Also, we have Jessica from UCI out here to help talk about insurance fraud, which is our topic for today.
That's not UTI, that's UCI.
Yeah.
UCI.
UCI.
Did I say UTI?
Yeah,
You might have said
Oh,
UTI.
man.
He called me fat bottom bro and
And a
infection
UTI.
now, so
Boy, I'm having.
UCI.
I'm rubbing off. See?
Oh, Jesus.
I'm just saying.
But clearly, we're having way too much fun here today. But that's okay. We still have the serious work that we have to do talking about insurance fraud. Before we do that, though, we are going to show a little bit of love to our sponsor, Jimmy, and talk a little bit about his platform.
Got some jazz
If you
hands.
are new to this business, the best way to survive is by knowing your costs. And there's no better way to track your costs than with AccuBid Pro.
Do you know your cost per mile? Have you been hitting your profit margins? Do you struggle with bidding in a way that is both profitable and competitive? Would it be worth it to have all this information right in front of you? By calculating your cost per mile, AccuBid Pro helps you stay profitable in an industry still struggling to recover. In order to calculate your cost per mile, AccuBid Pro asks you questions about your business expenses. Our goal is to help you understand what you need to keep operating in order to keep up with the game and maintain your business. Enter your origin and destination, and we show you what you should bid based on your personal cost per mile in order to be profitable, even including a more detailed breakdown of each bid. Download the app today and get your 30-day free trial of AccuBid Pro, available on the App Store and Google Play. Bid smarter, bid faster, bid better with AccuBid Pro.
I'm glad you guys don't get to hear the audio when the commercial is running, because it's probably getting a little wrong right now, but that's okay.
It's all right.
It's perfect.
Hey, it's Matt's.
It is. It's a riot.
This is transportation at its finest.
So let's talk a little bit about the insurance piece of what's going on. Some of the problems that exist within this industry are people just don't understand what it is that they're buying when they get themselves an insurance policy. And then they wind up in a whole lot of trouble when they need to go and file a claim. This stuff happens so often, and it's because most people don't even know what questions they need to ask. And that's one of the reasons why we have Jess here to help us out with giving you those questions that you need to be asking your insurance agents. And frankly, if you're looking for an insurance agent, give her a call. I'll give you her number at the end of the show. Okay.
The late night text.
So,
Or just all the time. It's fine. I'll silence the phone.
oh, we're having way too much fun here. Okay, so for those of you who are in the industry, you already know what the basic requirements are. FMCSA requires $750,000 surety bond.
Oh, that's brokers.
I'm talking about brokers. Yeah, I'm talking about brokers.
I'll separate.
Come
It's
on,
okay.
he's talking about me for a
I know.
second.
I know. Okay. We'll
She
do.
looked at the slides before we got started, so she
She
was somewhat
cheated.
prepared. And I didn't want her to be caught completely off guard, so she's got it all in her head, ready to explode with information, which is awesome. But that's neither here nor there. Brokers are first, and so the brokers $75,000 surety bond is required. If you are a larger broker, dude, get a bigger freaking bond.
Yes, sir.
Okay, you really need to be able to cover all the loads that you have operating at any given time.
Oh, hi.
Hi.
Just something I like to hear. I don't like working with big brokers who do $75,000 bonds.
We had a friend on the streaming.
And we have people just walk across the camera all the time.
Hey, this
like I
is
said,
Matt's, and it's live.
and it's
Welcome.
packed. It is
Hey.
packed
It
here.
is
So, but hey, we're having a bunch of fun. Contingent coverage is also really important for a broker because let's face it, this is a transportation industry, and pardon my French, but shit happens.
Shit happens a lot.
Shit happens.
It's a little touchy and pricey to carry, so you kind of want to wait if your customer really wants contingent coverage. But if you're getting into larger stuff, cover your ass. Get it.
It'll save you
CYA.
that money
CYA.
later.
Oh, yeah.
right? That's the key to all insurance. It really truly saves your ass in the end.
Yes, it does.
Then But really, if you're talking about saving your ass, you also need to have errors and omissions coverage is another key component to help protect brokers in the work that they do.
That's right.
Because let's face it, you guys lose a lot of money on claims. Because whether or not a carrier pays out on it, that doesn't help you very often, does
Nope, it does not. I mean, it's everything about this business will break you quick.
It's so sad to say, but carriers, you are probably at bigger risk going in here. Now, again, your requirements are $750,000.
But we're gonna pause there.
liability. Okay,
We're
here
gonna pause
comes the
there.
correction.
Unless you're in New Jersey or New York, where it's 1.5 million.
Oh my!
Also, if you are hazmat or any kind of specialty carrier, you may be required to have that 5 million coverage.
That
So,
hurts my feelings.
guys, analyze your operations. And seriously, when you're looking at insurance, talk to a qualified agent who's not just looking to sell you a policy, but is looking to be a partner for you, because those are the agents you really want. Like Jessica.
Thanks.
You also need to have cargo coverage, and I'm talking about you general haulers that are out there. I know there are some exceptions to the rule. $75,000 coverage is the minimum. A lot of brokers require $100,000. Is that what you have?
I get a lot of 250
Yeah.
and 500 depending on what they're hauling.
Yeah,
And I'm seeing that more and more on load boards as a dispatcher, them requiring at least $250,000 of coverage. Now, if you see that, a carrier can get a rider for that one particular load. Is that correct?
Yes, they can. So they can get a trip charge, or if you have a good agent and you talk to your agent, it's probably more cost effective for you actually to bump your coverages for the remaining part of the year. The difference in pricing, I have seen it be cheaper to just have it carry it for the full year rather than just do the one trip.
Really?
So, but you got to have your agent that actually, I always just recommend partner with an agent that you trust, that actually truly cares about your business and what's going to fit you best.
Some of the
somebody
other,
who gives a damn.
yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Somebody who gives a damn.
Exactly. Some of the other coverages that's important to have. Bobtail coverage basically helps protect you when you're not under a load. Interchange coverage if
That
you're
was John.
I was like, who farted?
That was John.
Somebody just literally let
He-
the air
he did
out,
it to
and
me
I don't know what's
yesterday.
happening.
I
But
tell you, he can't control himself.
I've got a gas problem, and it's unfortunately originating from our friends, the Kentucky Highway Patrol across the aisle from us, where they're doing a demonstration on brakes. So,
Oh, I guess we should have read that sign before we went on. It tells the times.
it
Oh,
does,
well.
it does.
okay.
Back to you, John.
General liability is also something that's actually very highly recommended that carriers have. I have seen so many listings from brokers saying the general liability is required. That's usually a broker's customer requiring that, but it's still a good form of coverage to make sure you have. Takes care of those slip, trips, and fall hazards and whatnot. You also have errors and omission insurance is also very good for carriers as well, because let's face it, you got to cover your ass.
Correct.
Believe it.
If somebody is going to be able to dodge a claim and pass it on to somebody else, they're going to do it. And I'm sorry, carriers,
True.
you're probably the ones that the claim is going to end up landing on. So you got to protect yourself.
Well, you're the last one in the chain, and let's be honest, you probably have the least money to fight back.
That's honestly the truth.
I'm
And
just being honest about it. I mean, if you're the last one to touch it, where the paperwork stopped, it's going to fall on your head.
absolutely.
It's like being the youngest kid, you get worse and worse treatment down the line because the oldest sister got away with murder. The middle child was like a little bit, you get no
They
privileges
say shit
because they
rolls
screwed it all
Yeah.
up. So
Shit rolls downhill, folks.
it does.
Okay, so some things that you need to be asking yourself. First off, as I mentioned before, a lot of people are underinsured in this industry. You are just not prepared for what it is you're doing. So you need to know your operation inside and out to make sure you've got enough coverage for what's going on. For example, if you're hauling LTL freight or partials, you have that $100,000 policy to deal with cargo, but have you asked your broker what the value of the partial that you're hauling is? You may be hauling two partials, and each one is valued actually at $75,000, but you only have $100,000 coverage. Now, if there is a total loss, it's not $100,000 per each cargo. It's $100,000 for the entire group of cargo.
For the
So
truckload.
So in that situation, somebody is out 50 grand. And I'm sorry, carriers, that's probably you out of pocket 50 grand to finish satisfying that claim if you can't negotiate that 50 grand away. So you've got a lot of hard work you need to do there.
And how do you fix those issues?
You got to call me.
No, you got to call the right insurance agent that truly asks you the right questions, that cares about your business. If you have somebody that you're talking to and they're not asking questions, ask yourself why. Because for our job on the insurance side as an agent, and we actually have a brokerage, so we have access to many, we want to find you the best fit for your business. What are you truly doing? Where are you going? Are you doing the less than truckload, or are you doing truckload? Because there's a difference in how we need to build that policy to where you truly have your ass
Just that part.
color covered.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You guys, again, shit rolls downhill. And when it comes to claims, carriers are on the bottom. So make sure you protect yourself. Does your insurance have exclusions? You definitely need to know that. And I got to tell you, the carriers I dispatch for, they probably have no idea what their exclusions are.
Everybody has exclusions.
So you need to know what is covered on your policy, what is not, and avoid cargoes that are not covered under your policy. Oh, excuse me, that was particularly bad. I'm so sorry.
And he's still letting go, people.
It's going to be a mess.
I have lost control. I completely lost
He's
control.
going to change his underwear after this program.
And they probably want me to change it sooner too.
Brief. It briefly happened.
So one of the things that any specialist might ask you when it comes to insurance is, do you have the entire policy? If you're dealing with a claim and you're hiring experts to help fight that claim, they're going to ask for a copy of your entire policy. Were you ever presented it? And I've known plenty of agents who do not hand over the entire policy. Why is that so damn important?
I don't know why they don't, because truly, when it comes to your insurance, you pay for it, you own it. It's just my job to make sure that it fits right. It's also your job to review it, and that obviously involves you getting the full copy of your policy. In our office, that's sent out, depending on the insurance company, sometimes it takes 10 days to get that full policy jacket. Sometimes it takes 30 days, but we do get it, you do have it, and you own it. You should have a copy of that. And if, your agent should be letting you know, hey, I've got this really cheaper one. It's a really great policy, but, you can't call X, Y, and Z. And you're going to know, well, I don't want to pay cheaper if I can't haul my normal freight, right? That excludes everything that I want to haul.
Exactly.
Okay, well, then let's find you a policy that covers you.
Let's be honest. No one reads the small print until the shit hits the fan. Then you're scrambling to get it and dig into it. A responsible insurance agent / broker like Jessica, she's going to highlight those points you need to know in this conversation, because she knows Jimmy didn't go home and read that. He filed that away.
Nobody went home and read that.
I just asked Jessica, am I legal? She said, yeah, I took her word for it and I rolled. She's going to highlight the valuable things I need to know.
Yeah, and a good insurance agent that does have a brokerage, we have many options. So I can say, hey, I got this policy, it's 10 grand. Okay, cool, that's great. I've got this policy, it's 15 grand. Okay, great. I got this policy, it's 30 grand. This is probably over covering you. You may not need to do it depending on what you're doing, right? This one in the middle, you're open, you can do whatever you want, whatever you have been doing. And I've got 5 exclusions. 5. That I can count those on one hand.
I can't.
You can. Oh, you and my wife would get along great.
Oh, sweet.
And she's watching. She actually has all 4 shift hats.
Then we would be a great pair.
She is, yes.
That's
She's
awesome.
amazing.
We could go glove shop and get a discount.
Yes.
Nice.
In the kids section.
That's true.
Yes.
I want to know that story. I want to know that story sometime. We're gonna have that. We're gonna have that
We'll have
conversation.
that story.
We're gonna have that conversation another time.
But your insurance, I can count them all on one hand. Now that's not every insurer, obviously. We have some lovely ones out there that the cargo exclusions policy is bigger than the whole rest of the policy jacket.
Of course it is.
Of course.
Because you're not going to read it.
So what is covered?
Nothing.
Yeah. Yep. We don't want that one that's 10 grand, do we?
No.
We want to pay the extra 5 grand, and we want to be able to be confident that we know that we're covered. We can haul what we want. And not only that, but if there is a claim that comes up, we have covered our own ass, and we're going to be covered.
There you go. That's what it's all about.
It ultimate bottom line is, does your insurance agent ask you questions about your business? Do they ask you what you're doing, where you're going, and how you get there? Are they also asking, providing you with information? that you need to know. Yes, I've got this. Yes, I know you want the cheapest price, but that really is, you're going to be stuck in this one lane and that's all you can do. When we all know truckers don't want one. They don't want restrictions. No, actually, what human wants restrictions?
Well, the downside to that is they probably don't know those restrictions, so they're doing whatever anyway.
Right.
And then when that shit hits the fan, it's really bad.
It is really bad.
And you see it all the time. 50 truck company go out of business because of one horrible claim. I mean, 50 trucks, you think it's a pretty good sized company.
That's
They're probably
absolutely
making money. You're still not big enough, you're self-insured, and you can afford this.
That's correct.
So yeah, you really have to look at it.
Yeah. So I recommend you don't just shop insurance. You also shop for a good agent that you click with, that
There
you
you
like,
go.
that tells you what, that teaches you some things.
Absolutely.
Really. It's all a learning. Life is just a learning lesson. So,
Ain't that the damn truth?
yeah.
So in that spirit of dealing with lessons, what a lot of people don't understand is Carmack. Carmack is the legal stuff that we all have to worry about when it comes to dealing with claims. And what most people don't understand is that brokers don't typically have to be in the middle of a claim. A claim is between the shipper and the carrier. The broker is usually on the outside edge, unless that is superseded by a contract between the broker and the shipper. So, and that's what we typically see a lot, and that's why brokers get involved in claims from time to time. Now, you got to be very careful, though, because ultimately, if one of my carriers that I dispatch for is in the middle of a claim, the last thing I want to hear is from the broker. All I care about is what the carrier is doing. The carrier needs to file it on our policy, because the carrier still deserves to get paid. If the carrier delivered the cargo and has a signed BOL, the carrier should still get paid regardless of the presence of a potential claim. The claim is an entirely separate matter, and that's under Carmack. Now, we know there are plenty of brokers out there, including the three-letter brokers that exist, who ignore that on a regular basis and for some reason seem to get away with it. So you need to avoid those kinds of issues when you're dealing with the three-letter brokers that are out there who will remain nameless for these purposes.
No slander here.
We don't need a cease and desist
we have
letter.
general liability.
Yeah. Oh, good. Thank God you're here.
Yeah, ain't that the truth? Yeah, I still don't want any
we
cease
would
and
prefer not.
desist
Yes,
letters.
yes,
I've had enough. Yeah, I'm going to start doing what guys down here across the way are doing, and posting the cease and desist letters on their wall behind them as they're in their studio.
Wallpaper. That's awesome.
Yeah. Okay, so freight guards are another huge problem when it comes to claims, especially if a claim goes undealt with by a carrier. Carriers, if you are presented a claim by a broker or their customer, you need to address it. Start addressing it in good faith, because if you fail to, that could lead to a freight guard against you. And of course, a freight guard for failing to deal with a claim is one of the fatal freight guards that exists in this industry. So you don't want to let that happen. Now, if it's not your fault and your insurance company's done their investigation and homework and proved that you are not liable, that's another whole situation. In which case, if the broker throws a freight guard against you, hire an attorney and sue the shit out of them, because they shouldn't be doing that to you in that case.
I do want to throw out there, please, carriers, I know that it's always scary to call and say, hey, this happened, and I don't want my insurance to go up. You're correct. You don't want your insurance to go up. None of us want our insurance to go up. However, if you have a claim, report it immediately. There's a couple reasons why, and I'm only going to touch on a couple, but number one, your memory is best served to you fresh.
Absolutely.
Once, a couple days go by, what were those details again? Because I've had 500 other things happen since then, and I can't really remember. They get a little lost in the wash. Right?
Hell, I can't remember what the hell I did 10 minutes
I
ago.
can't either.
I remember what you did 10 minutes ago.
Oh,
Everybody
yeah.
heard it
We
live.
heard it. It was live.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm
I
good.
remember that. Mhm.
Anyone got my gas X?
No, get that claim in. Just call immediately. If you're not at fault, your insurance company, you pay for insurance, they will protect you. That is their job. Or they're going to pay for the claim and they're going to put you back on the road. Either way, you're not going to have that break and stop where you aren't making money, because that doesn't get us anywhere, right? So immediately file that claim. Late reported claims will hurt you.
Yeah,
Does it hurt? Quick question from the broker side. Does it hurt worse if I have to call and make that claim? because Joe Carrier didn't bother to say, hey, I damaged this side by side because it fell off my trailer.
Oh yeah, it's never pleasant to get a call from a broker because then I have to do an investigation. I don't really handle the claims side. I just got to investigate far enough. Was that the correct carrier? Because that is something that we do see come across is claims filed against the wrong carriers.
Oh, I'm sure it happens all the time.
Yeah. But if you call, I'm going to call the carrier. I'm going to be like, hey, did you do this? Yes. Okay. Well, you need to call the claims department because if not, the broker is.
Hey, honesty is the best policy.
Absolutely.
Anytime you sit there and you try to hide something, they're going to find out. And that is really when the freight cards start flying around. Okay. So you really have to pay attention to what you're doing. You have to be honest with yourself and honest about your business in order to make sure that you're going to have the best possible outcome of a bad situation.
Well, what's done in the dark is going to come to the light. So whether you call and get in front of it, I call and you're behind it, either way it's coming.
I have a question for you. If
Sure.
a carrier does have a claim and they call you and they say, hey, this happened, I've already called my insurance company, I'm getting it taken care of. Are you going to use that carrier again?
Probably depending on what happened and why it happened.
Correct.
If that makes any sense.
But upfront honesty, doesn't that get them?
It goes a long
Yeah.
way. And then I'll talk to the customer on their behalf, see how they want to handle it before we even go to the claim side. The customer might be, okay, take 150 off my rate. I talk to the carrier. If we agree to that, it's settled. Doesn't even go to insurance.
Right.
There's ways to handle a lot of stuff. If it has to get there, though, it's better served if the carrier takes it to the insurance.
Right. And you have a good, honest relationship, though.
And I'll use them again the next time.
See, you heard it here from Jimmy Four Fingers.
Yes, sir.
That it's not the end of the world if you have a bad situation.
No, it's
hey,
not.
You know what? I got to take my pot shots when I can too.
Okay.
All right. Yeah,
He said pot shots.
Yes, I know. He's been doing it the whole show.
I was saying, I thought you already had a bunch of those just about 10 minutes ago.
Oh, me.
Oh, he didn't know that he brought from here to talk shit.
It's his fault.
Literal.
It is
It's
my
his
fault
fault.
for inviting him.
You could have sat here by
should know
yourself.
better. I should know better.
You had no idea what you put together.
That's
Jeff.
okay. That's okay. If you are an owner operator and you're working for a carrier, one form of fraud that we are coming across right now is that carrier may be charging you on a weekly basis a premium for the coverage that you're receiving through that carrier, and then the carrier doesn't even put you on the policy. I've actually run into this in my work several times. So one of the things that I recommend to an owner operator is pull the COI with the insurance provider on a periodic basis to make sure that your equipment and you as a driver are covered under that policy. What you don't want to have happen is for you to be covered on day 5, and then day 7, your carrier pulls you off the policy to try to save a few bucks, gambling on the fact that you may not get into an accident. Because if you get into an accident and you're not on the policy that day, you're hosed. Okay, so you really have to protect yourself. I would check on a weekly basis to make sure that you are still on that policy. There are too many people taking shortcuts right now. You have to protect yourself, protect your asset, and frankly, protect your livelihood. Because you get a bad claim against you, that's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad. If you are a broker screening a carrier, make sure you're getting an updated COI. You may have worked with that carrier last week.
Oh, no, call me.
But that carrier may have canceled their insurance the day before they booked this load, in which case the COI is no longer valid. In fact, the COI is only valid on the day that it's actually submitted, right?
At the day and time, actually. I mean, they say that they're valid. I think the bottom of the Accord forms, which is the certificate of insurance, says that it's valid for 24 hours. However, the day and time you receive that certificate of insurance, that is what is correct on the policy. If they make the change 10 minutes later, you need to get another certificate.
Wow. That's pretty crazy.
You need to get another
I do it every time.
Yeah.
I don't care. The broker, the carrier just hauled for me the day before.
Yeah.
I request again. I mean, it's just, I'm looking out for me. I'm looking out for you and the customer. My responsibility is the customer to not send a bad carrier, to not damage their freight. So I have to do what I have to do.
Yep. I always recommend that you get those directly from the insurance company
Straight from
or
the
insurance agent.
I don't let the carrier send it to me.
No, it needs to come from
Because let's face
He's
it, a
gonna send me
carrier
the
can sit
generic.
there and not only send the generic, but they can go into Adobe and doctor
Doctor
an
Doug.
accord form.
Yeah.
And those are the most dangerous.
Yes.
Those are really dangerous. Yes.
So
I've seen them.
verifying authenticity of the form is also important. Brokers, if you're not getting it direct from an insurance agent here, then you really need to authenticate that certificate to make sure you are protected.
Yeah, that's exactly how we ask. It's, hey, Carrier Joe, have your agent send me the COI. You know, not you. Your agent needs to send it to me.
And we do have
That's
a
how
lot
we-
of requests from brokers too for an updated certificate, and that's absolutely fine. We'll send it right back out. It happens all the time.
Standard practice.
Yeah, we have a gal at our office. That's pretty much all she does. She just sits behind the desk, sends certificates all day long.
That's a hell of a job.
It's a very important job,
It
though.
is.
You know, but carriers, you've got that weapon against the broker too. You need to be verifying their bond coverage. You absolutely have to be doing that on a regular basis. You can do that by going out on the Safer Lookup and looking up the broker to make sure the bond coverage is active. And you can also contact the bond company to make sure that that bond is also still active. Because let's face it, there's a lag time
There
on
is.
Safer, usually of a couple of days.
Yeah.
Oh, I had a carrier wouldn't haul my freight because Safer said I was uninsured. I had to send them the policy that's been renewed. I'm sorry, they're not up to date. I'm good to go, and it's
Which
still
is
That was your
which is
agent's
a responsible
probably
reaction.
my agent's fault. But
That was the updated filing should have been.
yeah, I mean, for some reason it just wasn't up to date on Safer, and he refused. And I'm like, good on you. I mean, you're doing your due diligence. So.
Yes, absolutely.
So if you are looking at this information, you need to make sure that you're working with a agent who specializes in the transportation industry. Because if you're dealing with an agent that does just general policies, they may not understand that it takes time for those filings to get processed through FMCSA so that they show up in Safer. And we have seen carriers go through the same issue you just did. You got to prove the insurance. It's crazy that way. If you wind up in a claim situation, I recommend you get a hold of this guy, Drew Wilder, Vicarious Liability. He is an expert in dealing with insurance claims. He has a jurisprudence doctorate, so that means he's got the education of an attorney, so he can help you deal with claim situations if you think that you are in a situation where you're innocent. So feel free to reach out to Drew. I've got his contact information on the screen. But if you're looking for, oh my gosh, that came out so tough.
That was your fault.
I screwed up that slide, guys.
Get your magnifying glass out.
Yeah, get your magnifying glass. Okay,
All right, I'll pitch it for you.
Give him the phone.
All right. So we're commercial insurance. We're based out of Boise, Idaho. I actually work remote from Texas. We've got Natasha Ammons works remote from North Carolina. We write 45 of the lower 48 states. All we do is commercial trucking. We are commercial trucking specialists. Give us a call. It is 208-273-5111, or you can find us at www.unitedcommercialinsurance.com.
Awesome. Folks, thank you so much. I really do appreciate you coming out and joining us for this. You know, we kind of rushed through it, and but we've had a lot of fun, and we will definitely be back again tomorrow, covering
his
another
gas X.
topic. What was that?
I
With
said
your
with your
gas
gas
X.
X.
With my
Yeah.
good.
or whatever.
Well, I've got to watch the time.
Or
If it's
Jared
after
Talk.
lunch, it might be a problem. But if you ever need any help with any issues within this industry, you can always reach me at jcantera@vigilanttransport.com, or my phone number is also on the screen. Just hit me up anytime. This is John Cantera, the Double Broker Bounty Hunter for AccuBid Pro. Special thanks to Freight Ninja for letting us use their booth to do this. Make sure that you're safe out there, and whatever you do, don't let scammers take you for a ride. We will catch you next time. God only knows how long it's going to take for me to actually shut this off.